Where's the light? Oh, there it is. So what's going on? What video, what channel is this going to be for? It's going to be Monster Car Arcade or Monster Core? I'm going to make it from Monster Core Arcade. So yesterday, Jonathan and I put some stuff away. Our other hobby or thing that we do, which are these suckers, animatronics. But right now, I'm going to do a little walkthrough of our arcade because I can walk through it now. Because there's no animatronics over here. There's no animatronics over here. I can walk over here. I'll show you the games in a minute. So I'm going to walk through and make sure everything is out of the way, which it is. If you didn't know, this is Monster Core Arcade. Arcade is with a K. So this is our basement. If you haven't seen it before, here you go. All the games are unplugged until this weekend because I recently found out that, call me stupid or call me whatever you want to call me, that if you have things plugged in, even though they're not being used, they draw a lot of electricity constantly. And if you have 25 pinball machines and 25 arcade games, that is a lot of electricity that you are drawing and wasting money on constantly. So that is something that is now resolved after spending years and years and years of money on wasted electricity. But anyway, live and learn, right? That's the meaning of life, living and learning the hard way. Where the state of this basement is right now is that obviously we are way out of room. Maxed out really to the balls to the walls. I've rearranged this basement so many different times, which is not a bad thing. It's all good. I ain't complaining about nothing. There were 2 pinball machines in this place right here, which, you know, if the right deal came along, if I had to, you know, do that, if I had a, you know, I have actually one pinball machine upstairs that's a coffin. It's not a full pinball machine, but I could set it up. It's actually a scared stiff coffin, they call it, because it's a coffin. And we do have a fully functioning scared stiff. But before I had a fully functioning scared stiff, because this game was such a rare pinball to find, there was someone selling an actual coffin and the backboard and a bunch of other parts. And he also sold, I forget what he sold before, the day that I bought it from him, for a very fair price indeed. I think he paid like $400 for it, for a whole bunch of other things. And then he actually sold me the playfield that he had taken out of the original coffin, and because he wanted to redo the entire game and get brand new mint, so he did that, and he had all these spare parts, and you know, I was left with the shell of a scared stiff. It just didn't have any of the, you know, the playfield was not populated, and it did not have the boards and all the guts and wires and stuff like that. So, you know, it was like a dream, you know, of mine to restore this thing to full capacity. But that would have took a lot of finding, you know, rare parts from a scared stiff, or I forget what other games that a scared stiff is close to. But back then I remember, you know, there was a couple of games I could have used. Anyway, long story short, too late as usual. If I really wanted to, I could put that scared stiff coffin right here. And then also maybe even another pinball machine, like, you know, one facing that way, one facing this way. And then have this space, you know, gain some more space upstairs, but then lose the space down here. So for right now, for the way things are in this basement, this is the way we are going to have it for, you know, I guess until whenever. These boxes are gone very soon. Gonna put them somewhere. Not sure where yet, but we have storage. Just have to work it out. And I do have a garage and a shed upstairs. So, you know, as I can, I'm going to put these things away. So we will, you know, they'll be used again in probably in the middle of August, believe it or not. That's when we'll start setting up our Halloween haunt. But anyway, going on with this, the Monster Core basement, the Monster Core Arcade basement, or basement. I don't even know how to even term this, but it's definitely called the Monster Core Arcade. So I haven't played these games in a while, and usually when we do come down here and play is when Jax is back. Jax is coming back this Friday. It's my other son. Have that custody crap going on, so have to deal with that nonsense. But definitely going to fire these bad boys up, and girls and ghouls. Plug them all in, enjoy them for the, for however long it's going to be. Next week is spring break for us, so that leaves a lot of time to chill out and relax. It's been a very, 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 very bad year so far for my family. A lot of crazy things are going on. My daughter's going through a bad phase, and got to figure out what's going on with her and how to handle it. Other things happened. My girlfriend, my Silent Hill Vikinga, as you know her as, SHV, Silent Hill Vikinga, who a lot of you are subscribed to. She really appreciates that. I say it to you every time you watch the video. Her mother had to get a pacemaker put in, and that happened on Thanksgiving. That was last year. And then I don't know when the surgery happened. I can't exactly remember when it was, but the surgery happened when it happened. And then she decided to go to Argentina or somewhere. I think it was Argentina. She went through this whole process to prep for it and this and that, take a flight that long. So it was very trying on Vanessa as well as her mom. Now my Uncle Charlie Babes, he has to get a very serious surgery too. I forget what it's exactly called, but it's something to do with his heart. He's not young, he's in his early 70s, I would say, and he has to get I think it's an aortic hernia or aortic. I can't remember the term, but it's something like that. It has to do with his valves or arteries, and it's not a stent, it's not a pacemaker. It's a pretty serious surgery. So that is something that my family is going through this next couple of months with that. So, but anyway, we still go on, we still move on, we still do what we got to do. My shift just changed as well. Sorry, I'm showing you the animatronics. I'm just trying to put things away as I'm talking. I went from working a 4 p.m. shift since I don't know when last year, probably the middle of the summer or before the summer started. I don't know exactly when, but I did go 4 to 12. And then just recently, last week, changed to 12 a.m. So I'm like really, really just really I'm not sure what's going on right now. My mind is definitely still adjusting to this new shift. It's definitely taking its toll on my body too, my knees, man. I'm freaking on fire every time I come home. Every time I finish working, it's like my body's not meant for this job anymore. So gotta definitely get myself back in the gym. Me and Jim haven't been talking for a while, but gotta get back in there and get my body back in shape the way it's supposed to be. Just talking about stuff that has to be done, moves that have to be made. It's like one of the first times I set this pinball machine up in a very long time since we had it. It's a very nice shape game. It's it's just a home use only, a home edition model. So it's really not like anything rare or collective, but it's really nice. And to someone that appreciates this kind of style of game, it is a Bally. It's in very great shape. Like I just said, the back glass is perfecto. So I'm gonna appreciate this. It's smaller too, but it does have the similar length of a pinball machine as you could see. So it's just smaller. I think the width of it is a little smaller. Yeah, it is. This is gonna go one way or another. It's gonna be sold or used to barter for some labor to help fix these pinball machines. Definitely make space for something else. Not sure yet what would go here, but there are other games up for sale. I'm considering putting up Common and Cyclone together in the same package deal. And let's see what else is possibly going to go. Over here, I would sell probably this WWF for the right price. I do like it. It's just we will see. And a Scared Stiff. Scared Stiff is up in value, and when the stock is that high, it's good to sell. So it's a very, very good possibility if the right offer comes along, this will be sold. It's very good shape, very good to great shape. It just needs a little bit of this and that, but I did a lot to it in the time that I've owned it. So, and it has a lot of upgrades as well, and mods, and full LED and this and that. So it's something that someone would definitely put some work into, make it even better than it is. So, and then the game will be worth more than it is. These arcade games, honestly, the only one that really matters to me is that Champion Baseball. And it's not a Champion Baseball 2, it's a Champion Baseball. That's just the Champion Baseball 2 marquee that I grabbed at some show for like $10, something like that. And I just thought it was cool to have. This play choice, I did good on the play choice too. It works very well. The only thing is it's not a big deal. It's just it could be, you could like add to this game. You can get the cartridges and you could put it in there, and then you'll have 10 games in this one shot. I just never got them, and whenever I was shopping for them, I just didn't understand what I was getting and if it would work right away, if I had to do anything to it. So I just waited on it. But they're out there if I ever when the time comes, if I want them. I would get certain games and put them in here, and then maybe even buy a bundle of arcade games and the cartridges, not the Nintendo cartridges from the NES 64, the original Nintendo game. It's like a smaller cartridge that goes in like some kind of a jack in the back of the board and something like that, and you can always switch the games out. Works really well though. It's a really cool game. Very good shape, man. I'm very, very happy with this game. I remember painting the bottom with my kids. To make it nicer, because it had some scuffs and stuff like that, and we just put a little band-aid on it, I guess, if you want to call it that. This piece of tape right here, I don't know why it's there. That's what happens when you have kids. They just do things that they shouldn't do. And this one right here, this RBI Baseball, it's like one of the last arcade games I got whenever I got it. It was for a very fair price as well. It was wasn't far, but it wasn't close. But I do remember that I, at that time, it was like the Spirit Halloween thing. So wherever I would go do some Spirit Halloween tours and Party City tours, Home Depot, and see what they had in stock. So it was definitely worth to get this. I think it was upstate New York, and then go do some tours of Spirit Halloween, like this stuff right here. Right? But it's a fun game. You can see that this is like almost like a sports aisle kind of. Take away from Donkey Kong right here. This Donkey Kong 2, I wanted to turn into a Fix-It Felix. I don't know how possible that's going to be, how expensive it is to do that, but I can't see it being that much of a big deal. Just changing up the, that part and that, and then make it into that. But we'll see. It's here. I didn't pay much for the cabinet. I think $100 from the Hop Shop, and I do have some power supplies for the back. And what I was going to do is, because it's not such a heavy game, I was actually going to take this one up and drop it off to an arcade tech that's not too far away from where I live, like blocks away. And he's like an old school router, or just understands the how to fix these things. And also it's a computer. So I took a game to him before, and he figured out what was going on with it. So I'm going to see if he can do it with this one and not charge so much. A couple $100. I'd be very happy in getting this thing going. I believe it's also a 60-in-1, so that'd be cool to get moving on when the time is right, which is soon, very soon. This one right here is a great multi-arcade machine. It's called an Extreme Arcade. Funny, the name is called Extreme because that's the name of the tech that, the name of the business that repairs these games, Extreme Computers. But this one has a lot of Atari and Taito games on it, which is, so many are very rare. Like if you see this guy right here, Agent X, that's like the Cloak and Dagger video game that was like named after that movie or before the movie came out. It was a very cool game. When you're in the elevator and you have to go up and down, and the guy like makes these like weird faces and stuff like that, and does funny things during that part of the game. So that's just one of the games on there that I was very, very happy to get. And there's a bunch of other ones too that if you went through the titles, you could see these rare games that you really could never find. You'll never find the actual dedicated cabinet to them, and if you do, you're very lucky. And if like I said, when you look at another video of mine, when we do some other shorts of stuff, I'll definitely list the games and do some gameplay. You'll see what I'm talking about. This track and field, I actually traded a Project Tron that I used to have, a Tron arcade that I don't think it was working. I forget what was wrong with it. Probably something very simple, like a power supplier or anything else. And I had two Trons, so I really didn't need, I obviously didn't need both of them. This one was in good shape. I know it's it's kind of customized and done up as best they could do it. The guy was like a car auto body shop, something like that. So he did some good paint job on it. But it looks good. It's definitely something that we play and we enjoy. My daughter actually played this game too and loved playing it, so it's cool. And even Jax and Jonathan. So this is definitely a good game and one of my old favorites too. Picked this thing up here at Pinfest, and it's like, I don't know what it's for. It probably goes on top of the game or something like that. But because I used as much space as I can for storage, I figured it looked good in there, and it does. It looks really cool in there because its whole thing is blue. You can't see nothing, but it worked out good. Put a little, I think I screwed it in somewhere, I taped it or glued it or whatever it was, and it worked out good. Looks good to me. These two right here, these are also multi-arcade machines. I think they're 12-in-1s. Yeah, it's a 12-in-1, and then this one is probably a 12-in-1 also, or 16-in-1. Has a variety of the old school Williams games. You can see the titles right down there. A lot of also games that you cannot get and very hard to get. So those are games that are on this multi-arcade system. And it's a MAM. I mean, not MAM. It's a cabaret size, so it's not that big. But the way I have it set up, it fits. And it fits the area right here where it comes down the stairs, right? So it works perfect for the way my basement is because there's no way I can change this basement around. I can't make the walls, in or out. But these are games also that are very fun to have, and my kids go to them. This has a little bit of cosmetic damage, but that's just stickers and stuff like that, and it doesn't bother me whatsoever. Like Super Basketball, remember that game with the dog that shoots during halftime, something like that, to get points. And it has Scramble. It has Hyper Sports, which is the next game up for Track and Field. I guess you can call it Track and Field 2. Or maybe it wasn't Track and Field 2. Maybe Track and Field 2 and then Hyper Sports or California Games. I forget exactly how it goes, but it's definitely part of the Track and Field trilogy. I believe it's Track and Field, then Hyper Sports, then California Games, if I'm not mistaken. These games right here are kind of considered the Grail games, Space Ace and Dragon's Lair. These are dedicated cabinets. This one is a little bit of a different cabinet than the original cabinet like this one. But both of them are really great shape. The only thing is, when I moved them, the laser disc down the bottom was, I guess it wasn't like stationary, and I should have took the laser disc player out when I moved them down the basement. Because after that, lesson learned, they did not work the way I was supposed to. But they both coin up. So it's really just a glitch. It's just something I have to figure out. When the time comes, I will. I always keep saying that in other videos and other times. But, I am coming close to retirement. So that's one thing, too. Once that happens, I'm going to have a lot more time on my hands. And I don't really plan on working another job. I'm going to do what I can to, get my life in order without having another job and only doing things I want to do. But these games are definitely on the list to figure out. And you never know. One day I might just pull them out and work on it myself and troubleshoot them and figure it out. So I'll take it from there. One of these games plays blind. I know these are like silly, simple fixes for real techs. You nerds out there that know more than I do. I'm like a rookie nerd. But they did play. And then, there's it's probably chassis, monitor or something with flybacks, something stupid. It doesn't take much to do. It doesn't cost much to buy the parts just to figure it out. So, when the time comes, they'll be fixed too. This one I got for like dirt cheap too, man. Some place in Pennsylvania. I forget exactly what it was. This guy had just stuff everywhere, like a disaster house. I don't even know if it was his house. He had like a drug addict girlfriend that was young, and he kept like making comments about her, like she's this, she's that. I remember taking all these pool sticks from this guy because he was like, just take them, and a bunch of billiard balls and chalk and stuff like that because, you can see we have a billiard table. So, whatever. This game right here, is very, very has meaning to it because not only it's wrestling, right? I'm definitely into wrestling, but on the night that the Ultimate Warrior died, on the weekend of WrestleMania, whenever this was, when the Ultimate Warrior died a decade ago, I don't know if it was a Saturday night, I would say. One of the nights of the weekend. It could have been a Friday, could have been a Saturday, but Saturday, I guess, was the Hall of Fame introduction when the Ultimate Warrior got inducted into Hall of Fame. If it was Friday or Saturday, I forget. But usually WrestleMania was on Sunday. So unless they did 2 parts of WrestleMania, but like I said, I just can't remember. It's been a long time. Could have been just Sunday. But anyway, I grabbed this game after almost 2 years of waiting to get it because I just worked, and have young kids and stuff like that, so I could never have grabbed it. But I did grab it, right? And the Ultimate Warrior, the next day, I wake up, or that evening, my friend tells me, my friend Craig's, he said the Ultimate Warrior died, right? So that weekend I got this game is when the Ultimate Warrior died, and that's my connection with the Ultimate Warrior because I definitely, he was 100% my favorite wrestler when I was a kid, and of course, even now his legacy lives on in my mind. My kids watched him too and seen him, and they understand why their dad is the way he is with long hair and goes to the gym. So Ultimate Warrior definitely my inspiration as a young kid. There he is right there. Everybody always has something to say about the Ultimate Warrior. Say it to his face. How about that? Can't. He has not young, he has 2 daughters, probably now in their almost near 20s that, miss him very much. Like I said, I'm going through some stuff with my daughter right now, so it's a very hard time for me being a dad, not seeing his daughter and not being able to help his daughter, which my daughter needs a lot of help right now. Help with school and possibly help with vaping because I believe she's still vaping and she's only 14 years old, man. It's very bad. So keep my daughter in your prayers, please, and help her to come home and let dad help her take care of her life, get herself back in the way she is supposed to be. Just doing what she's supposed to do, not the wrong thing and not hanging out with the wrong crowd just to fit in. That's bad. Moving on. This is a real Q*bert. It does not have the Gottlieb door, which is kind of a big deal. But it's a Q*bert, okay? I actually have 3 of these suckers, believe it or not. I don't know how I got them, but I got 3 of them. And one of them is at my friend's house that does have the Gottlieb door. Another one's in the garage, and this one's down here. And 2 of them don't work. They're glitchy, and the Gottlieb one does work. So when the time comes, we'll figure it out. I was looking at just to sell the 2 and move on with them and then get the other one back here, but when that time comes, it'll come. There's some Novus. Anybody want some Novus? I'll move on to some pinball. You got a black hole right here. Story with this black hole is I went to go get this game out of Long Island, and I was in a rush because we were going to see Monster Jam or something like that, someplace else. And it was like it just came up, and I was just in the buying mode of pinball machines. It was a great price. And then on the way home, I got freaking pulled over and had to pay double what this game was worth. So big mistake. Big mistake. But I put all that work into this thing, spent a little extra money on it to make it really nice. The only thing that's not good about it is the back glass. Everything else about it's really nice. The playfield, this, that, the side art. So this year when I go to Pinfest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a new back glass. I'm pretty sure there will be someone there selling it. And then, for a couple $100, I'll have a brand new back glass. We'll touch up the top part with some black paint, whatever it is. Maybe even paint it blue. Not sure yet. But this game is really beautiful, really pretty game. And this is a game actually my daughter liked very much too. So she's like, don't ever sell it. So I'm like, really don't want to sell it. But if the time comes, the right price comes along, then Mr. Black Hole will move on. And anyone remembers the reason why Black Hole is Black Hole? It's because of that movie, the Disney movie, I think, back in it probably was the 1980 or even 79. The Black Hole with that guy, Maximilian, and I forget who else it was. Bob, that little robot Bob. All right. Moving on to Pinbot. Pinbot I got in a trade for a Fishtails, right? Fishtails? Yeah, Fishtails. And what sold me on the trade was, having a Pinbot, definitely owning one. It's beautiful shape. It was redone by TNT Amusements, Todd Tuckey, out in Pennsylvania. Everything about this game is beautiful. Nothing wrong with it. It's actually close to perfect and mint. The only thing is, I just, it could be gone, I do like this thing too. It's like almost like part of the Cyclone thing. It's very similar to the game Cyclone with that, and even Cyclone. But or Comet. But I mean, listen, got a lot of pinball machines, and this row actually is the row that could go. If that rhymes, then I'm a poet and I didn't know it. This one right here, Lethal Weapon 3, very fun game. Has the gun shooter. Same thing with Last Action Hero, just a little bit of a different gun grip. Both these games are great. You got the classics in there. You got Arnold on that one. You got Mel Gibson and Danny Glover on this one. And what's her name? I forget that lady's name, but she was like an icon in all the movies. I think Chris Rock's in this too, but Joe Pesci's definitely in the Lethal Weapon 3. And a bunch of characters in Last Action Hero 2 that were really cool. So both these games are fun games, man. Last Action Hero has like a 6-ball multi-ball when it goes to the crane mode, and the crane moves and stuff like that. Really cool game. Definitely a cool game. It has the magnet over here, I think, with that golden ticket. So fun games, man. But both of these could be sold when the time is right and the price is fair. And I also remember switching the topper of Last Action Hero to a brand new topper, and I put LEDs and the lights down there on the top, so it looks definitely better than it did. And this game is also fully LED'd and has mirror blades. And then this Lethal Weapon 3 right here just has the topper of that plastic CPR thing. It's a NOS kit that it comes with. It's just like, didn't even cost that much money, but it just looks cool. Goes right with the globe, and the globe is new too. Does have LEDs in it as well. So cool games. Coming over back to the arcades, you got an Arkanoid here. Also another game that I picked up not too long ago. But the only thing with the Arkanoid, it's a LCD screen. So the gameplay, when you turn the knob, this knob is a little loose. So the bottom catcher, whatever you call that thing, if you call it a ship or a capsule, I guess it is. What do they call it here? The capsules come down, right? What's the catcher called? Catch the capsule. We'll call it a catcher. I guess it's Arkanoid, right? But it has the LCD screen, so it's not so clear. It's clear, but it's just glitchy. So it doesn't make the gameplay so easy. But you know what? It's cool. This game actually might go to the bar that I rent some games at, because it's definitely a bar type game. Here's a Baby Pac-Man. It's a dead Baby Pac-Man right now. Got 2 Baby Pac-Mans. So one of them will definitely go. This one turns on, like it coins up when it wants to, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. So there's just some little issues with this thing, maybe. I don't know what it is. The Vidiot board, they call it. It's one of those, what do they call it? This game is, what do they call this thing? Give me a second here. I had it right on my brain. It's like a hybrid, they call it. Hybrid video game pinball machine, because it has a lower play field that has a pinball. If you didn't know about Baby Pac-Man, that's what it is. And this one's not in bad shape. Definitely need some help, but it's all there. And like I said, I have 2 of them. So once the time comes around and the right deal comes around, this one will be sold, or the other one, whichever one's the better one, I'm keeping, and the other one will be sold. It's Miss Pac-Man right here. It's Miss Pac-Man I grabbed out in Delaware from some guy that had like hundreds of machines, pinballs, arcades, all kinds of things that just was sitting there doing nothing. And I saw so many games that I was like, I made him offers on. I had some money at the time, a couple grand on me. I was making him fair offers, and he wasn't going for it. I said this in another video too. So to make the trip worth it, I was able to snag this Miss Pac-Man that he also wasn't really so in a hurry to sell, and he had like 10 of them, right? And it wasn't in the greatest shape. It was definitely routed, had a bar in it and all this stuff that needs some bondo, right? The word bondo. But the good thing about this one is it was in good shape. The sides weren't that bad, right? It wasn't like really torn up too bad, but it had the Doyle, right? They call the 16-in-1 Doyle pack or Doyle kit, that you have 16 games now in the one Miss Pac-Man. And the games they have in it are games you just cannot get. And they're so rare. Like, I remember I always wanted this game called Piranha, because I played this game when I was in like a summer camp back in Brooklyn, and Regina Pacis in the basement. It was like a school. It had like a bowling alley in the basement, and had like these like couple video games down there, because it had a cafeteria or luncheonette, whatever area they had down there. I remember playing this game, piranha, you know, the one with the fish that eats the dots and stuff. It's like a Pac-Man piranha. So that was one of the games I was looking for, and I scored when I turned it on. I brought it home because I just cleaned up a little bit and did this and did that, and it worked. And then it had these games. It had the list of them. It had 16 games, and it had, you know, Piranha 1, Piranha 2, where it's regular speed, then super speed. You know, Miss Pac-Man 1 and 2, super speed. Pretty sure it has Pac-Man in it. You know, Pac-Man. Every game that it has in it has super speed. It had Pac-Man. I think it had Pac-Man Plus. Had like these weird games like Packing. I think it's Pack and Gal or Pac. Oh man, it's like a Night Pac-Man. There's a couple really, really cool variations of Pac-Man, which is something that, you know, it's part of the arcade history, and it has them all in there. So it was definitely worth it. And I think I paid only $200 for this. So if I can't remember if it was 2 or 400. I don't think I paid 4. I think I paid 2. I can't remember exactly, but either way, I still was happy with the deal and made the trip worth it. So it was all good. This Tron right here. Talk about Tron. They just released the teaser for the new Tron Ares with Jared Leto, and Jeff Bridges is still in it. So that is something to anticipate for this 2025. It's coming. I think it's either October or December. Not sure when, but this year is a good year for some movies and also for Netflix. We'll get to the Netflix in a minute with some Stranger Things. But going back to Tron, this Tron was good. It was all good. All of a sudden, something happened with the board, and I sent the board out along with the Baby Pac-Man video board. And when they came back, that did not work, and this did not work. So when the time comes, like I keep saying, you know, I'll figure out what to do with that. I know it's been a long time. Might have to just take it to somebody else, but eventually this will be fixed. Eventually it will be gone through and you know, whatever. It's not like in the greatest shape, but, you know, there's certain things that have to be done to it, you know, and it will be nice. It's definitely one of my favorite games. I do have the arcade 1-Up that has Discotron and Tron in it. So that's something that's really cool to own because it's very, very hard to get a Discotron. Never mind finding the environmental Discotron, which is like the holy grail of arcade games. But this is definitely a keeper for me, and it's very special, you know, because I definitely love the movies. The first one, you know, was great, but the second one was the one that really, you know, has put me over. I remember seeing that when I first had my daughter back in 2010, I'm going to say 11, whenever the movie came out. And I think it was the first movie I saw after my daughter was born. So it's definitely special to me. I remember playing this game too as a teener. At a dude ranch with my parents and my brother and sister when we went away. So this was a cool game. Definitely good memories here. I remember changing this. I changed the shooter handle too. I don't know what's called, the gun light stick, but yeah, the light stick glows, and it has a really, really cool fluorescent effect to it. So that's cool. I changed the I just added the NCOM sticker to it to make it look a little more cooler. Some metal things right there as well. This is Asteroids. Asteroids sometimes plays blind, comes on when it wants to come on, but it's a classic. Definitely, if you collect video games, this is definitely one to have in your possession. You know, it's just matters. You know, you can see the cool cardboard. What do they call it? I don't know what the exact term is, just the inner part of the artwork. It's cardboard, you know, it's really old, but it still looks good. I'm sure you can buy a new one if you wanted to and you know, doll it up a bit and make it even better. But this part right here, this panel, the CPR overlay, whatever it's called, arcade overlay, really nice shape, not scratched up, not beat up and stuff like that. So that's cool. It's good to see. And coin door looks good too. Silly to say, but these are the things that people look for. Bottom is not damaged either, which is good. No flaking and water damage on the bottom like most other games have. All my games, thank God, are on wheels too. So whenever I need to move them, I just pull them out, push them in. And I'm tall, so the wheels don't hurt me at all. And my daughter's tall, and my son's going to be tall. My other son's going to be tall too, I think. So, you know, as the days go, these games will be used, and they'll be easier to play for all of us, especially for our lower backs. This is a triple P'd. I actually traded one of my other Baby Pac-Mans for this back years ago. I thought it was a good trade. And, you know, it plays good. You know, it has little issues with it, but it's still good. You know, it's an actual Atari millipede cabinet. You know, you got to love the artwork of this guy with the crossbow. I don't know what he is, a Robin Hood or something, and he's shooting this humongous centipede or millipede. The artwork just steals this game. It's like almost like a medieval times game. I don't know what that guy is down there. What is that? A lizard? Oh, it's mushrooms. Wow, it looks so cool, man. You know, I never noticed that. Look at the mushrooms on that. How the color is so nice. Really cool. And the vines, right? And that's the Tron stool that comes with the 1-up of Discotron and Tron. Really cool to have. Gorf used to be one of the strongest games I ever had. I did some like little nonsense things to it because inside here I believe there are light bulbs on both sides of the marquee, and I changed them to like a purple and a yellow, so it just brought out the Gorf and the purple more, which looks really cool. I think also, yeah, down here there's also 2 light bulbs on each side, and when I opened it up, you know, I was learning about the games and stuff like that. You know, I also changed that to a nice purple color. I think it was a black light color. So it really makes the artwork pop, especially down there. You know, when the lights are off and you have the games on, it just looks so cool. Sorry for going so fast here. I'm just like holding the camera down so you can't really see it. But anyway, I spoke so highly about this game for a while, right? I'm like, this game never gave me trouble. And then all of a sudden, it started giving me trouble. But that's also because I haven't been down here as much, and we've been you know, doing a lot of Halloween haunting since last year and unhaunting and stuff. So I really haven't paid much attention to the games. And if you don't turn these games on and play them, they break. They break down and they don't play and function the way they're supposed to. So that is the way life is. That's the way the cookie crumbles, right? As they say. Let me do this. So now this is Super Checks. The dome is in great shape, thank God. My son was like putting stuff on the other day. I was like, no, don't do that. You crack the dome. The game is just completely worthless. Have a little touch-up duct tape down there because this thing cracked. But it's a Survivor. It's a Super Checks. It's the one that has United States of America versus Russia. You know, USA versus Russia. Back when there was this big deal about Russia versus USA. So it's definitely got some nostalgia, and it definitely has some value. So it's a cool game, and the kids definitely play this game. But these hockey guys, sometimes there's a couple of them that need to be probably glued. I don't know if it's a smart idea to do that, but they got loose. I know there's 1 or 2 that got loose. And years ago, my son lost the puck because you could just easily pick up the dome, which I should probably not allow, but sometimes the puck gets stuck, so you kind of need to have the dome accessible. You can just, you know, pick it up and turn it. I mean, I pick it up and tilt it to get to the puck. The puck was lost, and you could have played the game without this puck. And then whatever day it was, you know, probably a year or so later, after, you know, I finally started doing work in the basement with the games, I ordered a puck. It cost like $20 for a puck, and then after that, the game was just back in business. So, silly little thing, man. I'll go down this line first because this other line has the clutter. There's a Corvette. Corvette needs a board, and it should work. I had to swap out a board to put it in another game, and I sold it. And then that board wound up being not good anyway. So, yeah, Corvette needs a board, and it's looks like it's to be an import because it has the coin dominations, right? But the game looks not bad, you know. It turns on and it coins up. It just, I mean, it doesn't coin up. It turns on and everything goes with it. But it needs something. Giant Mnemonic, one of my favorite games. I got this game almost probably a decade ago. Actually, longer than a decade ago. This has been with me for the years, more than a decade. Probably got this in around 2011 or 12. I think when my son Jonathan was born, so I got, you know, Johnny for him. Very nice game, very good shape. It glitches every once in a while with the glove. But I think it just needs to be gone through a little bit. I think the clips are just a little bit, you know, dirty and stuff like that. But, you know, when the time comes, a lot of these games will be gone through. And they're not sellers. They're keepers. Avatar. Avatar is a unbelievable, beautiful game. They just came out with the Jersey Jack edition of Avatar, which looks off the charts, man. I can't even get into that game, how amazing it looks. $12,000 they want for it. I don't know who has $12,000 to pay for a pinball machine. I certainly don't, but I guess there's guys out there that, you know, have it. But anyway, this is one of my favorite games too. It's one of my daughter's favorite games. I did get this game back when my daughter was a baby, and I remember, you know, like dedicating this game to her because I think Avatar was a movie I saw with her mother. Right before she was born, when things were still good. So, you know, this game was for my daughter, and presently my girlfriend and I like did so many things to this game to make it beautiful. Like the side art is like almost like fluorescent and glow in the dark, but it's just beautiful. And then I changed so many of the lights that I can get to like a beautiful LED color. Like a lot of the lights underneath are like a purplish color. Like I think they call it comet blue or whatever purple color it is, and it just makes the game look so beautiful. Added this speaker grill to it. The DMD was changed, and it's like a white LED, white color dot matrix. You could put filters over it if you wanted to. I could probably put a nice purple, but it just looks so pretty without it. Like the white just stands out, and I just kept it like that, just because. The back glass is like a three-dimensional one. It's not the LE. I think there's two versions of this. There's an LE and a Pro. I'm pretty sure this is the Pro, if it even is called a Pro. I'm not exactly sure. I have to look. Does it say it right there? I can't remember, man. I don't think it's the LE though, but it looks like it's an LE. I also put in the back glass kit where it's an LED kit that makes the lights just like go along with the gameplay, which is really cool. So this to me is just another keeper game. Really, really beautiful game. I see a couple of them go online for like a very low price compared to what I paid for it back then. I think I paid 28, even 3,800 for this game. I can't remember exactly what I paid for this game, but if they're selling it for under $4,000, you're nuts. Even if it's a pro, this game is beautiful, man. Definitely a game. If you love pinball and you're into all this stuff and you can afford it, this is a game you need to get. Even the pro model, very beautiful game, and the sound effects of it. It's really like you're in the movie. It's just like it's amazing. I can't even explain it to you. You have to play it yourself and see and understand to understand what I'm talking about. Revenge from Mars. This is another game that I traded for one of the games I sold. What did I sell this and trade it for? Was it Star Wars? I believe it was Star Wars. My daddy is Star Wars. And then this guy, was interested, and he delivered this game himself. He picked up the other one. It made everything easier on me because he helped me take up the Star Wars and help me bring this down here and help me set it up. You have to like go through this whole process to set this game up too, because it's not just a 1, 2, 3. So that was good to do. But this game is great, and there's nothing wrong with it from what I remember. I remember playing this game one day with my girlfriend, my SHV, and she loves aliens. She's an alien, so she's all into this alien thing, right? I love aliens too. Aliens are great. I was destroying this game, man. We were enjoying the night. I think we were having ale, enjoying ourselves down the basement, hanging out, playing pinball for once. And I'm a gamer. I'm a baller. Right? I know how to play video games and pinball machines. And I wail, I could stay on a ball for minutes, like 10, 20 minutes, right? I don't know if that's good or bad, but I know it's, it's long. And it happened to be, I guess, midnight, right? It was late nighttime, right? So I'm really, going so crazy with this. Like all of a sudden, game shuts down. I'm like, what happening? I broke this game now and I have another problem. I'm like, whatever, I was like, no problem, whatever, just let it go. And I don't know, I texted the guy and I said to him, hey, I think he texted me first. Said something to me about the Star Wars, like one of the parts I gave him was like the wrong part, and I think it was like for one of the instead of for the it was a Data East Star Wars, right? And then there's like a Williams Star Wars or something like that. There's like an older one, and I think what I had was for that model. I think it was like a fluoro kit, like the plastics that you put on the playfield plastic protectors. And he was like, yeah, I think this is for another game, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know, man. I really can't remember. And, obviously you could just sell it and get something for it. You could probably get like $100 for it, or even $70, $50, get some of your money back. And then I'm like, yo, dude, not for nothing. The Revenge from Mars conked down on me one night. I was like, we were railing on it, and all of a sudden just shut down. And he was like, he goes, really? He goes, that's very weird, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you know what? I said, he goes, what time did it happen at? And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly. He goes, did it happen at midnight? And I'm like, it could have, probably did, yeah. He goes, you know what? There's a setting in this game that if you play this game at midnight, it'll shut off. So I'm gonna try it one day. I'm gonna put it on, play it, because it's all set up and stuff like that to a time. I'm gonna see and test it and see what happens. And if that's what happens, that's what happens. Great game though. All right, I'm gonna walk this way. Did I do this aisle yet? I know I did this aisle. I know I walked here before, but I didn't explain the games. So we'll go to Elvira and her flashing us her boobies. This was one of the first pinballs that I ever bought. I'm gonna say it is my is it my second? Okay, so first my history of pinball of owning pinball machines was finding a Matahari. If anybody knows about Matahari, it's like the spy pinball machine from the late 70s, maybe, yeah, like 78, I think it is, 79. And it supposedly like has this like thing about it where there's a dagger on the playfield glass, and it's like it's not a translate, it's actual playfield glass with artwork on it, very beautiful artwork. It has like a tiger and has a woman, a blonde woman, and a spy. And on the dagger, it has like a in script the artist's name. And back then, it was a big deal because I think the artist was German and maybe considered to be an actual spy or something like that. And we were at war with Germany, whenever it was. So it has some kind of relevance. Anyway, I did not have that one, but that was my first pinball machine. And then when I learned about pinball and found out about that, I was like, oh, that's interesting stuff right there. Meteor by Stern, another 1979 or 8 game, was my second pinball machine I owned. The first one I ever bought. I bought it from a guy named Crazy Levy, this guy from New York City that was into pinball. And, I just looked him up because I was fairly new to the pinball world. This is going back in 2000 and maybe 10 when I first bought my home, which is this place right here. And I was like, I'm turning this basement into a game room because it came with the pool table. It had a bunch of stuff down here. And then, long story short, you could see, where it has, turned into, how it's changed, transformed. But Meteor was the second game. Then I'm going to say that my third game, the game that I really, really wanted was one of the three right now. It was either Elvira and the Party Monsters, Demolition Man, or Terminator 2. I can't remember which one was my third game, and I couldn't tell you if I tried. But definitely in that time frame, it was 1, 2, and 3. I can't tell you which one I got next. I know I drove halfway to Syracuse to get Terminator 2, and I got it for very, 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 very fair price from someone. I got his number still on my phone. And that was a good deal. Like, he drove halfway, and like I wanted like to see the game go on, and then whatever. I just went with it, and the game was fine. Nothing wrong with the game. And then one of the other days, I think it was Elvira was the second one. Not with the boobies. Elvira was from another guy, a router that had this game at a day camp, and I can't remember if it was in Pennsylvania or in Jersey, or upstate New York. But I got this game for a very fair price too. And then Demolition Man. And Demolition Man was for another guy. I think the guy's name was Rich. And Rich had, like, is pretty similar to the way I am now. It seemed like he cared more about pinball and arcade games than making his house look beautiful. Whatever the reason is, whatever his reason was, I don't know. But my reason is because of, my children destroy everything, especially my son Jonathan. And buying pinball games buying pinball machines and arcades, when you buy them like every once in a while, doesn't cost $10,000 on a spot. Like, you have to do a kitchen or a bathroom and all that stuff. And on my home, I did so much work, and I got to a point where I couldn't do any more, and I just not gave up. But I was like, this is the way it is until life changes, and until that time comes, I'm going to enjoy myself, and just got into the collection, the hobby of pinball. I don't know which ones I got afterwards, but I know that the Terminator 3 was a good deal. It was more or less a home use only. Let me go to it right now. But Terminator 3 was a very, very good shape game, and it's still in good shape. Put mirror blades on it, changed the shield, the color shield, to a red one because it looks really cool with red. But the only bad about that is this game has a lot of red. And what I would do is, if I ever care to, is change these globes to blue because it just has too much red in it. Like all the lane things, the lane guides, the lane lights, everything's red. It's like, how much red do you need? But I kept the motif with the red color. So it is fully LED too, and it's in really good shape, really good shape. And I also have the art blades for the inner part of it. The actual blades, they're LED blades that they can plug it in, and it'll light up, and it'll play, it'll light up according to gameplay, which will be something that'll get done when the time is right as well. Well, that's my model, when the time is right. This Terminator 2, This actually is not the original Terminator 2 that I bought. This is the second one that I grabbed when I did. I actually paid a little bit extra for it because, you know, the pinball prices went a little bit high. But I did want it. And I was glad to have it back. I'm not going to talk about what happened to my other Terminator 2, but I'm glad to have Terminator back. And it works. And there's a few things I would do to this game. Well, not a few things. There's a lot of things I would do to this game when that time comes. Remember that word. Remember that phrase, when the time comes. WWF right here. This game was working perfectly. It had a color DMD. Game was in great shape. I had to like swap my DMDs to try to troubleshoot on the game, and I did something to this one. I don't know if it's a fuse. I don't know if it's the power supply. I looked at it very quickly, but I never really looked at it. So when that time comes, we'll see what's going on in this game. But it does play blind, I think, and then all of a sudden it doesn't play blind. So, you know, we'll get to it when we do. And there's some championship belts down there that I was thinking of hanging on like in a row here, but I don't know if I want to go that far right now. We'll see what happens as we move on in our life. Demolition Man, one of my favorite games as a kid. Used to love playing this game at Maple Lanes in Brooklyn, New York, my bowling alley that I grew up at and learned how to bowl, and just had many wonderful days at that place playing certain games like Super Off-Road, Super Sprint, Funhouse. I can't remember what other pinball machines and games they had, but those were the go-to ones, especially Demolition Man. One thing with this one, the Cryo Claw gave me problems, right? And then my original tech that I used to have have come and help me service my games was his name was Andrew. He wasn't young; he was up there in age, and this was before COVID. He used to come and help me a couple times, but he would travel a long distance from Long Island. It would take him a few hours to get here, and you know, it's the mission itself just to get here was too much. And then he actually took the parts to the Cryo Claw, and he was gonna try to figure it out and fix all the stuff. And then when I finally started fixing my games, and I had another tech come down, I had the tech look at stuff, and I was like, you know, troubleshoot this, and he's like, "Where's the Cryo Claw? Where's the pieces?" And I'm like, "Where? I thought they were inside the game." And I'm like, you know, duh, you know, and the guy had them. I wound up texting the guy and calling him, and then he actually found them. And then, like, you know, a month or two later, he sent it to me in the mail. And then when my other tech came back, Brian, he put it together and it works. The only thing that needs to be done with this game is it needs to have two coils put in for the flippers. I remember I had to take a coil out because I had to put it into another game, and that was that. But this is a great game. Demolition Man is definitely one. And there's different backglass. As you can see, there's not backglass, different translights, alternate translights right there, alternate translight right there, alternate translight right there. If you could see with the glare. I like the alternate translights. I do have the originals too, but I just like doing it different. There's like a little weird graphics on this. Not so, you know, realistic, but it's still cool. Spy Hunter. This game really isn't anything more than just what it is. You know, it has the sounds, which is great. The gameplay itself is kind of like nothing. There's no ramps, but it has its own thing going on. It has this little drop bounce thing onto the rubbers, and it hits the little lights, and it makes these cool little sounds. You know, it has the drop targets over there. But then when it comes to this part right here, if you're going in this area, you're dead. You know, it's like, why would you put that there? You know, it's like kind of annoying. But the game is cool. You know, it's good to have when you're into pinball. I did pay a little bit for this, but this game was completely redone. And I got this at the Pinfest Allentown show. I think how many years ago it was? 3 or 4 years ago. I did own another Spy Hunter, but the Spy Hunter I owned was beat up to a point, and I pulled the leg out. So I really didn't want to be bothered with fixing that game. And then I actually did a barter with one of my with Brian for the Spy Hunter, and then, you know, he did work for me and took the Spy Hunter, and he's gonna make that Spy Hunter beautiful when he has the time and flip it, because for some reason this game has value. And there's also a thing with the Spy Hunter that you could change the board or something, and you can make it into another game. I just can't remember the name of the game, but it's like a futuristic game, like almost like a space game. I just can't think of the name. If you know what it is, if you're still listening to this and watching this video, let me know. But I can't remember right now. And going to the Scared Stiff. I told you about the story with the Scared Stiff, so we'll move on. Come over here. I think I told you about the Fireball. Guns N' Roses. This is the Guns N' Roses that has that issue with the upper playfield thing, and that issue was resolved. There's like a kit that was put in here. There's also something you could do to that thing up there where the ball hits one of those posts and it jingles around and it chips the playfield. All you have to do is change the nut, like the under nut, and make sure it fits, and you can make it tight and it won't do it anymore. So this game is a keeper for me. I did pay a little bit for it, but I like it. My girlfriend loves it, and it sounds like you're in the concert when you play this game. And we're definitely into the rock things, and we're rockers. So this is an awesome game to have. So if you are into any kind of rock and you like metal and Guns N' Roses and stuff like that, this is a great game to have. And this one's beautiful too, by the way. It's an LE, beautiful game. There's a Tron, my beautiful Tron. I think I showed you this before. I don't know if I remember or not, but same thing with the Avatar I showed you before. This is like you're actually in the movie, and it's from Tron Legacy movie. So now that they put out the new movie for Tron Ares, I think the value of this Tron goes up, and I'm going to say that someone is going to make a Tron in the future, probably Stern, and that will be a game that everybody's going to want. So keep your eye out for that one. You heard it here first. Twister. Twister's an awesome game. Twister has that topper that when it goes into the tornado mode, the topper blows. It's almost like whirlwind, and it makes you feel like, the tornado. You're feeling wind and stuff like that. It has a spinner right here that makes the balls do what they do. There's supposed to be a magnet mechanism down there, a magnet board. I believe my magnet board blew, or the fuse blew or something like that. It does not catch the balls like it's supposed to. And that multi-ball mode where all the balls like magnetize to each other and it spins and then it lets go and then it's like a tornado. That will be fixed when it gets fixed. But there was a lot that was done to this game to get it to this point. The fan actually was redone. I had to find all these parts too because it was missing the topper, that fan up there, and that's a crucial part of this game. But the game was good. I haven't played in a while, but the soundtrack also for this game with not Led Zeppelin. What's the name of that band? Hold on. Oh my God, man, my mind and brain is gone. Van Halen, Humans Beings is one of the songs that's in this game. I apologize if this isn't coming out so clear. I don't know why. This is one of my jacked up phones. Maybe the lens is dirty? Yeah, I'm not sure if it's coming out. Either my eyes are blurry or the camera is coming out blurry. Let me see. Yeah, this is going to be one of my last videos with this phone. This is actually a really good phone, but I ran it over with my truck, so it does not work the way it's supposed to anymore. Cyclone was actually also one of the first games I bought, and one of the first games that I redid. One of my good pinball buddies, Super Dave, redid this game for me when I was very new at the hobby, and put a little money into it. At the time, did a lot of good things to it, and I bought the sorry about that. I bought the ramp kit. It comes with 3 ramps. And then one day I decided I wanted to change the ramps from the old ones to the new ones. And then I messed everything up. I just lost focus. I had to go take care of my kids. And when I came back, it was like, weeks later or a month later, and I forgot what to do. And then everything was all over the place. So that was my fault. Messed it up. This Comet right here. This is another game that meant a lot to me when I was a kid. You can see my stack right here, the waste stack. Comet was a game I played back in a place called Nellie Bly, and that was in Brooklyn. It was one of my old theme parks, a small little kid park. And they used to have a batting cage there. I remember going to the batting cages. And right next to the batting cage was this pinball machine, Comet. And the sound effects of this game is what will always draw me to playing it. It's because every time I hear it, it reminds me of going to that batting cage and going to that amusement park as a kid. So it's just great memories. It's not in the best of shape. It is planked on the playfield, and the sides aren't the greatest, I think. But if you put a little love into it, and which I will when the time comes, it will look good. And it does play. It does play. The board was changed in the back, soundboard, stuff like that. So it does have some. It does have hope, like life. This is a virtual pin in a Twilight Zone cabinet. It's right now. It's my storage shelf. It was good. I made a trade for this game. It was one of the mistakes I've ever made with pinballs. I traded a game for it that I don't want to say because you're gonna say you're an idiot. I know I'm an idiot. But whatever. We live and learn. But I have to configure this too when I get the time. I'm gonna actually give this to the tech that could fix the arcade games if the time comes, and then let them figure it out, make it work. But we'll see what happens. Right now, like I said, there's so many things going on. I can't even focus on one thing. But I got a lot of good stuff. And when the time is right, like my motto, things will be done. Thy will be done. There's a Stranger Things. Very, very happy with this game. There's lights are bugging you out. I don't know if it makes a difference if the lights are on or lights are off. I have a little, like, what you call light up there that looks like it's the upside down. So you can see the little upside down things going on here. For a cool effect. That might make it look a little bit better. No, because the light's glaring on it. It is a premium. It's definitely the one to get. The LE is not much any different than the premium. It just costs thousands more. There is a topper for this game. It's not those 3 cars. It's like $1,000 or $2,000 topper that just like has LED lights in it. It looks like the same thing that you see right there. I can't see paying $1,000 or $500 for a topper. Never mind $2,000 for a topper. So I made my own topper. And also I have this little thing here that's a LED light that will also go behind the cars or higher, and it'll look like a topper, and it looks fantastic. I had this set up someplace else before, and it does its job, and it looks perfect just with that. So that's my effect for Stranger Things Premium. It does have the projector screen, and the projector goes on the targets and the spinner and stuff like that, and the drop targets. This comes down as a ramp. Really, really great game. The what you call it effects on the monitor, I guess it's called, looks fantastic. It has certain parts of the movie in it, not of the movie, the TV series in it, and just a great game. Absolutely great game. So I can shut these lights on. Okay, shut the lights off. And then we come up to the Slugfest. Slugfest right now is a little bit of storage too. Definitely need to be putting more stuff away. Next couple days, things will be put away more. Slugfest was great, played great for a while, then all of a sudden it gave me some issues. It's a very heavy game too, and in order for me to get to the dot matrix, I think I have to pull out a couple things. I forget how to do it exactly, but it's not as easy as you think it is, and I have to like reseat the connections in there, and I think there's a fuse blown because the whole screen is all jumbled and stuff like that. But it does play blind, but there's no sound. So not sure what happened. I did move this game, so definitely something happened when I moved it. But gameplay of it, everything was great with it for a long time. I did some work to it too inside. I put pin blade side art inside from, I don't know if it was from Pin Graphics or just from whatever it came from. But this is definitely one of my favorite games. I used to play baseball when I was a kid for a long time, up until probably, I'm going to say almost 40 years old, playing baseball and softball. So anything to do with baseball is something that means a lot to me. And this one definitely has sentimental value. I also remember playing this game in the Poconos as a kid when we first started going to the Poconos on my vacations when I was a kid. I remember playing this game, and the great thing about this game is it gives you cards if you do well, and it dispenses cards. Now this one does work, but the cards get a little sticky, and then all of a sudden they don't come out because it's only a certain amount of space for the card to come out on. But it works when it works, and it's definitely a great game. So something that definitely appreciate and definitely want to keep in the collection. So, all right, man. I don't know if you lasted this long. I can't imagine you did, but if you did, thank you for watching and listening and hanging out with me. I'm gonna watch this video when I do as life continues to unfold. But keep you guys posted. We will do more videos as we can, and just keep watching the progress of the Monster Core Arcade. Game on, everybody.